And so the cut begins. This is the first session of the cut. Now, I'm not one to claim to be a bodybuilder or all of this and all of that. I just love weight training. I love everything to do with lifting weights. Like I said, it's my outlet. But I do think that having a healthy balance of getting bigger and trimming down is so necessary, and that is why I do the whole bulking up, cutting down sort of thing. Not necessarily for bodybuilding purposes. It's just nice to see yourself trim down and get big, vice versa. So today marks the first session of the cut. Nothing much will change. I tend to keep my training the same, as the same as I can keep it in terms of weight, exercises, and just sessions in general, because so many people change their style of training when it comes to dieting, and I think, I'm not going to say it's the wrong approach, but like, if it isn't broken, why fix it? So I tend to keep my training the same, whether I'm bulking, cutting, and anything else, whatever else there is. I just keep everything the same. My training will always remain the same, or try to keep it the same. I'll always keep it the same consistency, push myself to my maximum potential every session. But like I said, it's just nice to bulk up and trim down here and there. It's a healthy thing to do, not just for the body but for the mind, because so many people can get caught up in that period of seeing themselves at a weight that they don't like, whether that's too big or too skinny, and they can't commit to anything. Whereas I think if you commit to something every once in a while, like commit and say to yourself, right, I'm going to trim down to this weight, or right, I'm going to bulk up to this weight, that's a good thing to do. Yeah, first session of the cut, chest and tris. I'll see how long my strength can keep up for until it starts to plateau and then slowly decline, because that is a natural occurring thing when you diet, when you're restricting calories, restricting carbs, trimming body fat. Try and maintain your strength as much as you can before it starts to decline, because that will happen and there's no point denying that. So first session of the cut, I'm feeling good. I'm sure I'll get more fatigued and tired, and the workouts will get slowly a little bit shorter, but like I said, I'm going to try and keep everything the same regardless of my calorie intake. If there's any incentive to that, it just means that you're going to see me trim down a bit, and probably some more physique stuff, because I never really tend to show my physique that much anyway, because I'm just here for the weights. I just love weight training so much. I'm not too caught up on physical appearance. I know it's just an added bonus for weight training and bodybuilding, but the main thing for this is just to keep this intact, But this is all besides the point. I always talk after the first set because I don't really do an intro to lifting sessions anymore, to blood box sessions, just because it keeps things flowing. But yeah, chest and triceps today. I'm going to do another set. Let's just carry on with this and jump straight into another set. Let's do it. Coming in! Come on! And again. Come on. rest after that. One more, then we'll move on. Let's do it. Last one. Come on. Yeah. Ooh. Ha. Come on. And again. Woo! That's where it's at. I'm pretty sure that's the first time as well, because I know, was it last video? No, video before. It was the first time I'd done incline dumbbell in the blood box. And now this is the first time I've done flat in here. And the first that you have seen me do flat in here. I've missed these exercises, man. You know, like I said, I don't have a gym membership. I train down here. This is my place. This is where there's just no other place quite like this, and it is very limited, but I wouldn't change it for anything, you know. Slowly and slowly this will progress. I will progress, this place will progress, the blood box will progress, hopefully my channels will progress. You know, I love seeing progression in anything, any area, any field, any realm that there is progression to be had. I am there for it. And that is what I see in this, is opportunity for progression. And that is why I'm putting so much time and effort into it, is because I believe the progress, I can see it. But anyway, yeah, that is the first time you've seen me do flat dumbbell. And like I said, I've missed these exercises, man. And I'm glad to have them back. Even the little things, you know, make a difference. So I'm glad to have this back. I'm glad to implement another exercise into my routine, my weekly routine, and extra stuff for you guys to see, you know. The more exercises, the more variety, and the better the content in a general sense. So yeah, I'm going to move straight on to, I don't know if I'm going to chop back into triceps, chop in and out. Yeah, I'm going to chop into a tricep movement, and you'll figure out what that is. So let's just get straight into it. Come on. And again. One more. Woo! That's a new setup, and it feels good. It's good to have it on like a rack, because then you can just unload and load it. And that variation's quite good, because I know a couple of videos ago I said that skull crushers tend to pinch my elbows a little bit in a certain angle, but that feels good. So let's stick with that for 2 more, and then change back to chest, and then probably another tricep, and then that'll be it. You know, dieting, man, you don't need to overdo it. Just do what you usually do, get in there, do your session, and get out. You know, too many people overdo it. and you just end up self-sabotaging yourself. You know, you're not recovered enough for the next session, and so on and so on and so on, and it just becomes increasingly harder to stay consistent. So yeah, get in, do what you need to do, and get the fuck out. But anyway, let's do another set. Let's get to it. And again. Come on. Woo! Let's go again. Yep. And again. One more. Woo! Let's move straight on to, I don't know what I want to do, because I remember last session I did a sort of superset type thing, but I think that sort of stuff is very, very fatiguing, especially when you're restricting calories and stuff. So let me have a think about what I'm going to do, and then we'll just cut straight to that. Let's do it. Come on. Woo! Decided to move on to slightly incline dumbbell fly, just because it felt good last time, and only a slight incline just because I don't want shoulders to take over, you know, keep that tension on the chest. So sit here, probably 2 more, and then last tricep exercise, and I might only do 2 sets of that, because that last movement I just did was good, you know, feels good. So, you know, don't want to overdo it. So 2 more here, and then 2 tricep. Oh, it's getting all complicated. I'll just cut to another set and we'll just move on. Let's do it. Come on. And again. One more. Woo! Oh, that's where it's at. That is where it's at. You know what? I'm going to leave that there. I'm just going to move straight onto last tricep exercise. Dumbbell overhead. Oh, I can barely lift my arms up. Dumbbell overhead. I'll probably only do 2 sets there. And then that's it. That'll be the session. So let's just move straight onto it and get this shit done. Let's fucking do it. Yep. Woo! That exercise never fails me. One more and then that's it. Let's do it. Woo! Last one. Come on. Oof. Come on. Woo! That's it. Good shit. That is it. Session 20, I'm gonna say. I keep losing track of this, but I still have it in the back of my mind. Session 20, I'm gonna say, is complete. Another brick on the wall. That is it, man. Like I say, most of these sessions now that I'm sort of dieting, trimming down, cutting, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to have less energy, less calories, you know, less stuff to give, less leeway, you know. Everything has to be precise as of now. Everything's going to get shorter, everything's going to become more efficient. But besides that, very exciting stuff. As of this weekend, I am building the Smith machine that is going in here. So hopefully in the next couple of videos there will be a Smith machine, a new piece of equipment added to the blood box. We'll build it, get it in here and get it in the content rotation, get it in the workout rotation, add some new exercises. But other than that, there's not much to tidy up. I'm just going to sort this stuff out and then do a short little recap and that'll be it. So let's cut straight to it. Woo! That is it. Session complete with efficiency. I know I had a lot to say about that a couple videos ago. Other than that, very good session. You know, like I said, I will be expecting the strength plateau and decline, which is the natural occurrence with dieting and trimming down. You know, you cannot expect to increase or even maintain the strength that you usually have, and that's just facts. It's science, you know. So don't be disheartened when it comes to dieting and trimming down that you can't lift as much as you have been, as you're used to, because it's a natural occurring thing, you know. And the whole purpose of trimming down isn't to get stronger, it's to get leaner. So if you want to get stronger, then pick other things to do, because they don't go hand in hand. I'll just say that. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be trying to maintain your strength, because I think that is a very key thing when it comes to dieting, and the maintenance of muscle and maintaining as much muscle mass as possible when you're dieting, is to try to maintain your strength as much as possible, you know. It doesn't mean ego lift, go and load up a weight that you can't manage and try and press it, because you're just going to end up in a very bad state after that. What I mean is by picking weights that you know are challenging, that you know will push you, that will help to maintain your strength as much as possible and contribute to keeping the majority of your muscle mass when you're trimming down. Anyway, that is besides the point. I don't have much motivational stuff today because I am in a bit of a time constraint. You know, like I said, I like to train in the dark, and as you saw throughout the session, it did gradually get darker. But it is silly o'clock, and I need to get out of here because I can't be training at these times. So I have had a realization that I'm just going to have to come to terms with the light and train with the light. So from now on, sessions and content will probably be in the light. It doesn't have much of a added effect. If anything, it makes it a little bit less mysterious and, you know, gritty, raw, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, I'm not going to go to the extreme lengths of covering up my windows just to make it dark in here and mysterious and whatnot. You know, I don't really give a shit. As long as my training's the same and I have this place, then that is all that matters. So I've just been trying to get used to all of this content stuff, which I am getting a grasp on finally. You know, like I said at the start of the session, I love anything that has potential for progress. And content has massive potential for progress, so I am getting a grasp on it and getting in a fairly decent routine. YouTube videos will be more consistent, TikTok and Instagram, all social media things will be more consistent. I am getting a good grasp on what it's like to have the consistency of content, being a content creator. So besides that, nothing else to say. I'm just going to leave it on that and go and eat my food and go to bed and do it all over again probably, because that is what we do. So if that sounds like you, then you are not alone. So I'm just going to leave it there and I will see you in the next one. That is it.